The store, I guess. I don't know. Hopefully they don't throw it away, man. They gotta have some kind of storage facility, right? Because I don't know. We're gonna start them. Then again, a lot of people die all the time. That would be a big storage facility. I just thought about that. People die every day in the thousands, right? So to have a storage facility for for memorabilia or mementos or like sensitive items that are placed at these headstones, like storage facility would be bigger than the actual cemetery.
I do not like when people do this. I find pennies on stones all the time, and I don't like it.
Have you ever walked through a cemetery and seen change on top of headstones? You know, I'm talking about pennies, nickels, dimes, quarters, or strange
It was put there for a reason.
coins that have no monetary.
Hey, engineers. I think I had a coin one time with an engineer logo on it that was given to me by a first sergeant. I think I don't remember what I did to earn it. I think I stole something on his behalf. And he gave me a coin for what I did. I think he was looking for a fire extinguisher, and I tactically acquired it for him. And he didn't ask any questions. Yeah, well, actually, he did ask a question. He's like, "Do I got to give this back?" I was like, "No, no one knows you have it, First Sergeant. That's my man." And then he gave me a coin. And I think it had some kind of engineer. Yeah.
Value whatsoever. I'm going to explain to you why. Quite honestly, if you want to find yourself in the middle of a brawl in Arlington National Cemetery, you go ahead and start clearing off the tops of those gravestones from the dimes, quarters, and other coins that you see placed on top of them. We're not just scooping a bunch of change off for the bus, shoving it in our pockets, and then walking away. It's a sign of remembrance. And we all need a class on this because some people just don't know enough about it. Now back to the task at hand and informing you on why you shouldn't pick up coins on top of a gravestone. Especially,
Again, you shouldn't pick up anything that's on top of a gravestone if you don't know or are not related to the person whose gravestone that belongs to. That's just. And you know what's crazy? My parents never taught me this. That's just something that I grew up and I thought about it and I was like, yeah, that's pretty bad. That's pretty disrespectful. Never even occurred to me. Man, never, not once fucking occurred to me. I was never taught this. I was never told, hey, jackass, you should know this so you don't get fucked up later in life. Don't fuck with headstones or don't fuck with cemeteries or fucking funeral details and stuff like that. You just don't do it. That was just my common sense kicked in. And it wasn't even common sense, bro. It's just basic human fucking decency.
if it's so outwardly obvious that a veteran is buried there. Let's watch this middle-aged man's full mistake before we go any further.
You guys want to see the coolest tombstone up here, in my opinion? We'll go over here and look at it.
You, my friend, are one weird motherfucker. You were just walking through a cemetery talking about, yo, this is the coolest fucking headstone I've ever seen. What? You're fucking weird, okay? No doubt about it. You're weird. You're fucking cringe. And something's wrong with you. Something is wrong with you. Man, maybe you just maybe you just don't know, or you're not good at picking up on maybe you have a certain level of autism that is causing you to behave this way. Because I've never seen someone walking through a cemetery with their cell phone talking about, guys, check out how cool this fucking tombstone is. Like, granted, yes, it does look better than all of the other ones. I agree, but my guy.
This stone right here, this is my favorite stone in the entire cemetery. That is a beautiful headstone.
Unless he's a... Wait, hold on. I was trying to read something. Who said it? Where is it? He works there? No, bro. No, bro. And if you work here, my guy, you need to find better hobbies outside of work. You need to find something else to entertain yourself outside of work. Not to mention recording headstones and putting them on the internet with your phone. That right there is already disrespectful in itself. You're in a place of sorrow. You're in a place of death. You're in a place of depression. Right? You're in a place of morbidity. I don't fucking know if that's a word. You need to know your environment. You don't pull out a cell phone in this place and start recording like you're just making your regular everyday fucking TikTok. The fuck, bro?
Stone. I do not like when people do this. I find pennies on stones all the time and I don't like it. But this is the nicest stone in the cemetery in my opinion. Look at this right here. It's got...
I find these pennies on these stones and I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. Keyword in there being I. It's not about you. It's about them and the person that placed it there. Like, what if this person collected pennies? I collected pennies and coins and stuff like that when I was a kid with my mother. That's what we did all the time. We'd have these booklets where we would put them in these slots by date. And the older the coin was, the more rare it was, and we would put it in its slot. We did nickels, pennies, dimes, quarters, quarter dollars, like find all this stuff. And it's something that we did together when I was a child. So if my mother were to die right now, I could do that for her, and that would make sense. It's not about you. I don't like it. Gives a shit, dog. You're a fucking idiot.
Just like layering, you know, like it's like draped over. It's very nice.
If you like history, you're going to like this. Way back in the Greek days with Zeus and Hercules and all these fantastic gods throwing lightning bolts down from Mount Olympus to the lowly mortals that live down below. The dead would have to cross the river Styx in order to make it into the afterlife, and friends and family wanted to make sure that they could afford the toll and pay the boatsmen that slowly paddled the boat across the river Styx to bring their loved ones into the afterlife. And that man needed money. So often they would take coins and...
No, you shouldn't super glue it, Kat. That's just desecration. I know where your head's at. And logically, yeah, if you don't want anybody taking it off, then that would make sense. And that would be a good route to take. It'd be a good route to take. Kind of like if someone keeps stealing the street sign out of your neighborhood, right? Instead of fucking bolts and shit, you're just gonna put more bolts, but you're gonna super glue it and then probably electrify the fucking pole, right? But that's just desecration, really. No matter where, I mean, no matter what the situation is, and it would fuck up the stone and the marble and all that stuff. So
either put them over the eyes or in the mouth of their loved ones. Which is a shame, because I don't think anybody wants to go to the afterlife with their mouth tasting like a bunch of rusty pennies. Nowadays, things and traditions have changed to...
I don't really care what my tombstone or headstone looks like or what it says, just so long as I get buried in sweatpants and a t-shirt. Like, if that request does not get fulfilled by my loved ones, I'm haunting the absolute ever-loving shit out of all of them. I don't want to be in a goddamn suit. I don't want to be in a fucking tuxedo. None of that shit. I want to be in sweatpants and a t-shirt. That's it. And some tennis shoes. That is fucking it. And if I can't have my way, then I guess I'm just not gonna die.
Not so much us throwing money on top of guys' faces or shoveling it down our dead friends' mouths, but we bring coins, pennies, nickels, dimes, quarters, etc., to the gravestones of those that have passed away in remembrance. Pennies mean that you just wanted to pay your respects, and if you've ever gone to Arlington National Cemetery, the amount of pennies that have been placed upon Audie Murphy's gravestone, probably enough to fill a dumpster.
Yeah.
Nickels, a strange one, but it means you went to basic training with that person.
That I really didn't know. Wow, dude, I didn't know that.
Maybe even your advanced individual training if you want to church it up a little bit. So if you see a nickel you know that those guys have been friends since way back. A dime means that you were deployed with that person, you served alongside them. For some, it means that they were in the same unit together and then, went their separate ways. For others, it could mean that you deployed with them overseas. Finally, there's a quarter, which means that you were with that person when they passed away. So if you see quarters on top of a headstone, somebody probably was having a not so great day shortly before you showed up.
Yeah.
And then finally, there's unit or branch coins. These coins are also placed on top of the headstones of people that passed away in the same way that all the other coins are placed on top of the headstones to show family members and loved ones that
I honestly didn't know that, bro. I really didn't. I know that they're buried in a certain way, diagonally, to where everything is matching, and like sometimes battle buddies or just like team members that know each other or serve together, they'll get buried right next to each other. Like, everything is uniform in a military cemetery. But I did know that. I just didn't know what the coins actually meant. Because I've been to a military cemetery before. I just didn't do much walking around and looking at the two. I could see everything from a distance, and I got pretty close to some of them. But I don't know, man. I just didn't really feel comfortable walking around like everyone else did. I was like, I don't know these soldiers. I don't know these soldiers, and I don't want to walk around pretending like I do. And stuff like that. Like, their service is invaluable, and it's a sad thing. But while all of my battle buddies before the ceremony started were just walking around the cemetery paying their respects, I was just I don't know, that I didn't want to. I was just like, man, I don't know these soldiers, dude, and surely they could. I don't really think they don't want me here. They actually don't want any of you here. They want their loved ones or their battle buddy or their homie or something like that. And that was just my thought process on the whole thing. Like, from a distance I saw it, but I didn't do much walking around, so I didn't really see any of these coins. And the cemetery was very, very clean. Like, the only thing you saw was flowers when I was there. It was a cemetery in Italy. It was a military cemetery. But
people are still visiting those that passed away. The phrase never forgotten rings true to those people. I myself make an annual trip down to Arlington National Cemetery.
Nope, the poppy, that's not happening. Never in a million goddamn years. When I was in the service, when I was filling out my will, they asked me, if you perish in combat, do you want military honors for a funeral? And I was like, nope, none of that. I don't want to be in a military funeral. Or I don't want to be in a military cemetery. I don't want taps played. I don't want any of that. Fucking put me literally somewhere else, right? I don't want a whole bunch of fucking people to get dressed up on my behalf and make a dog and pony show out of my death. I'm not doing that, so I refused. I don't want to get buried in my military uniform. I don't want to get buried in a military cemetery. I don't want any military service members there aside from my very, very closest homies from the military. Toth, McCoy, and that's pretty much, and Tinkham. That's it. Toth, McCoy, and Tinkham. All the other ones, y'all are still my homies, but I only want those three there. That's it. That's all I really care about. And I already told them too, you come to my funeral, don't come in a fucking suit, all black, none of that shit. Wear whatever the fuck you want, and Tinkham, you can probably come with a doobie if you want to. Don't let anybody tell you anything differently.
To see Major Alan Johnson, who I was deployed with overseas when he unfortunately passed away in 2006. Or no, he passed away in 2007. We started the deployment in 2006. All these coins are a symbol showing family members and others that the loved one is not forgotten and that is still being visited. So there's your quick history on why we shouldn't go through a cemetery and start picking up the pennies, nickels, and dimes on top of gravestones from veterans. I'm sure people hoped that I would fly.
This is an Air Force member, I believe.
On top of gravestones.
Yeah, United States Air Force, Vietnam. Shit.
Stones from veterans. I'm sure people hoped that I would fly off the handle and put the drill sergeant hat on and go absolutely nuts. But I'm also not sure if this is a complete and total troll, because I'm
not sure if that guy's completely there in his head. Really. To just slight education is what that guy needs. Because he wasn't being disrespectful. He wasn't desecrating. He wasn't trashing it. In fact, he was admiring it. Which I don't mind you admiring it, even though I think you're a little fucking weird for it. Like, he was just admiring it, and then he was like, he just doesn't know, man. And as military and as prior service, I don't expect civilians to know everything. I don't expect y'all to know anything at all, man. I learned something during this video. I learned that it was probably, I knew that it was probably one of his military buddies or homies or superiors or subordinates that left that there as a sign of remembrance, but I didn't actually know what the coins meant. So even I learned something, and I am prior service. So I don't expect civilians to know everything about the service and our customs and the way we operate and how we live, because the military is a completely different civilization from the civilian world. It is a completely different world. It is a completely different place. And so I don't expect any of you to know any of this stuff. So basic education is all this guy really needed. He didn't really need the drill sergeant getting yelled at and stuff like that. He doesn't know. He didn't know. And he wasn't being disrespectful about it. I still think you're fucking weird walking through a goddamn cemetery holding a cell phone recording. The only people that do that are fucking ghost hunters. And if you're gonna do that, I still wouldn't do that in a fucking cemetery. Do that in the middle of the fucking woods. Or at a fucking mental asylum or something like that. But
I wanted to psyop a bunch of army guys or veterans in general, not showing my face and pretending like I didn't know what a coin was on top of their headstone, and then going up and saying, "Oh, I don't like this. It looks like trash," and taking it and putting it in my pocket.
It could be a troll. You're right. This guy recording,
going up and saying, "Oh, I don't like
this guy recording," could actually know this person. John David Rodkey, I think was his last name.
This. It looks like trash," and taking it and
yeah, Rodkey. And then I'm assuming that's his wife. Oh, but his wife is still alive. John passed, born February 13th, 1946, died October 19th, 2021. And then his wife, Joyce, born October 8th, 1946, with no date for death. So, wife is still alive. And when she passes, I'm assuming that they'll just update this headstone with the date of her death, and she'll be buried right next to him. That's actually pretty, that's awesome, actually. Not awesome, you know what I'm saying, though. It's heartwarming is what it is. Right? So maybe this guy actually knew John, right? But I doubt it, because maybe. And he's just trolling. Maybe he put the coin there and took it back off just to piss people off. Maybe he actually knows John and Joyce. Maybe this is the son. Maybe this is the grandson. Maybe this is someone related, but I don't know.
Putting it in my pocket, basically grave robbing. That would be a way to ruffle a whole bunch of feathers intentionally. Now, I don't know where this original came from, but if this guy's trolling us, nice try, you didn't get me. But if you're not, well, at least I used this opportunity to explain to everyone why this ain't a fountain in the middle of the mall that you could just dip your hand in and scoop up your bus fare for, okay?
I've never done that either. At all. Those fountains in malls are just fountains, period, where people throw in coins. I'm not putting my hand in that fucking dirty-ass water. Ah, man. We're talking about coins. Coins. Like money that is in circulation for the whole world. You know how many people have touched those coins? You know how many people have stuck their fingers up their ass and then paid with change? And then now you're sticking your hand inside some fucking poop-infested water trying to grab some goddamn coins? Like, how down bad are you if you're grabbing coins out of a wish fountain?
If you think the guy did it on purpose, tell me why in the comments. If you think it's a troll, tell me why too. I want to know if he's a double agent. I'll see you next time, weirdos.
One, it's either or. It's either or. He either doesn't know and is just a weirdo walking around a cemetery with a camera, or he's trolling. That's it. But yeah, that is a good way to piss some people off.